So the best business you can start in 2025 is not an SMMA, it's not a dropshipping, and it's not even an AI automations. The secret business you can start is influencer marketing agency. And let me tell you why. I'm Žygis and I've been running an influencer marketing agency for over 3 years now, and I've gathered a ton of experience and also money in that space. Also, I have few social media pages with over 500,000 followers, and that's how I gained a lot of knowledge in that space. So let's get started. So first, how does it work? It's a product versus middleman. So building the next Apple requires a massive R&D capital. A middleman scales by connecting existing supply and a demand. So for example, Amazon launches a bookseller connecting buyers to publishers. An Uber scales by matching drivers with riders without owning any cars. And next is 10k per month goal, so clear outcome, a solo middleman system that can earn 10k per month in 2025. And that's exactly what you're gonna learn in this exact video. I will make sure that you will know everything about an influencer marketing agency and you will be able to scale it to 10k per month in less than a single year. And trust me on that one. And next is video roadmap, so what you will learn is why middleman wins, the best middleman business for 2025, and a step-by-step launch plan. But before we go any further, let me give you a clear example of how does it work. So first, you are the middleman between a company and an influencer. You connect the influencer with the company and then you take a percentage cut from each deal the influencer gets from the company. So for example, a company wants to do 10 videos a month with the influencer and each video costs company $1,000. And you as the middleman will take 25%. So that's $250 for each video an influencer makes. So all you do is find a company, find an influencer, connect them, and you earn money passively. So let's move on to the next steps. So the problem brands face. So first is attention scarcity. So consumers have limited attention and brands struggle to break through noise because there is a ton of competition these days. And if you want to launch paid ad campaigns, it costs them even more than just to sponsor a video with an influencer. Because influencer marketing is getting cheaper than the normal marketing. And moving on to this is rising ad costs. So CPMs and CAC increase, making paid acquisitions less efficient. So companies moving budget from paid ads to creator for launches. Because if you want to do a launch on your app, it will cost you a ton of money. And companies usually want to spend less, so that's why they connect with the influencers. And that's why it's a very growing niche. And next is trust advantage. So audience trusts creators more than traditional interruptive ads. So for example, a very big creator is more trusted than a very big brand. Because a creator is posting content and he is giving value to the people who are watching him. And the brands, everyone knows that the brands just want to sell them stuff. So that's why they don't really trust the brand that much. And that's why they rely more on the creators. And next is why middleman beats manufacturing. So first is no inventory risk. You avoid warehousing, returns and production delays. You have to deal with none of that, and that's why it's a great business. So next is leverage other assets. So you monetize creators' audiences and brands' budgets. So it's like matching a skincare brand with 3 micro influencers and taking a commission. Next is scale via systems. You don't need to hire a ton of people to scale. So all you need is good templates in place and automation for some kind of outreach. Also some VAs to expand capacity without hires. So a single founder using a VA plus a template can easily manage 20 deals per month. And you can count it yourself, it's more than probably $20,000. So one person fit, part 1. First is operate solo, so your role is matchmaking and negotiating, not fulfillment. So all you do is connect the brand with the creator and the creator does everything with the brand that's needed. So you just get the demographics, you get the age, maybe the brand wants to know their genders, so you get all that stuff. And then later you connect the brand with the creator, the brand contacts the creator, does everything that's needed, and you take a commission as the middleman without any of that fluff. So basically all you need is an email, a spreadsheet because you have to bookkeep everything, and also a Stripe account because you have to receive money. And that's how easy it is. And the next is asynchronous work, so negotiate via email and automate outreach, so no fixed schedule required. You can close brand deals with the email while even traveling, so you don't need to hop on a call because most of the brands will agree to work with you without even having a call. All you need is an email, a Stripe account, and a spreadsheet. That's it. That's all you need to run this kind of business. And next is a low startup cost. So a laptop, a Google Sheet, and outreach channels are enough to begin. So all you need to do is have a simple laptop. It could be very cheap one for $200 or even cheaper one, because all you need to do is write emails. And moving on to one person fit part 2. So first is better leverage than freelancing. You collect commission across deals rather than selling hours. So let me explain this a little bit more. As for example, you are creating websites as a freelancer. So some person asks you to create a website and he will give you $2,000 for that website. So you spend 40 hours creating that website and then you get paid that $2,000. You take it home and then you search for the new deal, and then again you spend 40 hours, create that website, get $2,000, and that's it. And how does this work? So it's better leverage because as an influencer marketing agency, you have to work till you find a company and an influencer. So once you find these two and they match, and maybe the company wants to do 20 videos, so that's a passive income because influencer will still do the videos, and you as the middleman will still receive their commission. Even though you found a deal 12 months ago, for example a year ago, you will be still receiving the commission. That's how good it is. So next is linear revenue growth. So each new deal adds margin without proportional overhead. So adding a second campaign nearly doubles revenue with similar effort. Yep, that's how easy it is. Next is AI tailwind. So AI finds leads, drafts outreaches, and summarizes replies to speed workflow. So you can do a lot of things with AI, and you don't need to have 10 people to do all these stuff. So you can use a software to send 1,000 personalized emails and then filter replies. Everything is done with AI. That's why it's a very good business, because you don't need to hire a ton of people to do that simple tasks. And moving on to why influencer agencies win in 2025. So first is a huge demand. Brand increased creator budgets for reach and authenticity. So a lot of brands are now actually very much focusing on creators. Take video AI generating tool for example, they are growing enormously because they are focusing on the influencer marketing. And why? Because it's the best place to promote your product. And they are working with probably more than 80 influencers at a time. So you can imagine how much they spend for these type of videos. And it's a clear example that this actually works because the brands wouldn't pay that much if this wouldn't work. So next is high ticket and low ops. So campaigns can pay thousands while you coordinate assets and posting. It's a high ticket sale and you keep probably $2,000 after each deal. Next is productless model. So you sell introductions and coordination, no inventory or ad accounts. So all you need is just email. So for example, if you're on a social media marketing agency, you need a ton of understanding of how everything works. Also, you need to know how to run ads, how to track ads. You need to know everything. In influencer marketing, you don't need to know any of that stuff. All you need is to have a good connection with the brand and an influencer. That's all you need. So let's move on to the next step, which choose a niche. So that's how you can start. The first thing is you need to choose a niche, because without a niche, how are you gonna run this type of a business, right? So specialize to close faster. So a niche builds clarity, trust with brands. So for example, if you know fitness, it's better to choose a fitness niche because then you will know everything about fitness, and that will be easier for you to find brand deals because you know a lot of fitness companies too. And what I would suggest is always picking a niche that you understand the best. So if you pick a gaming niche, you better know the companies that wants to pay gamers for sponsoring some kind of stuff. And always when you pick a niche, just focus on that single niche, because it's better to be the best in one niche than to be good or even bad in all niches. No brand wants to work with you if you work with 20 different niches. So always pick just one single niche and then focus on it so much, then you will be the best in that type of niche. And next is pick existing spenders. Target markets that are already running influencer deals. So if a company is running an influencer deal, you better contact them and not some other random company you found on Google that has no idea how influencer marketing works, because yes, not every company understands that it's valuable and it works. So always work with the companies that actually are working with the influencers. That way it will be way easier to convince them to work with you. And if you're contacting companies that have zero knowledge about influencer marketing, they will give you zero answers. And that's why probably you get no replies if you do that outreach. So next is start small and expand later. That's exactly what I talked about earlier. So you need to dominate a micro niche before broadening services. So for example, start with a boutique fitness supplements and then expand to home fitness gear. That's how you should do it. So let's move on to building a creator roster. So the first step is to target 10k to 500k creators. It's the best balance of cost, reach, and engagement. So if you always contact a person with 3 million followers, it will be way harder to get their reply to you. And also, they will have a very high cost for a video. And a company doesn't want to spend probably $10,000 just for a single integration, or they want. So you always have to understand what the company wants. But I would say the sweetest spot is 10k to 500k, because in that type of space, almost every company would be able to work with their budgets. And also, if you find a deal for a big YouTuber with 3 million followers and a company wants to spend 50k for an integration, that's awesome, but it's way harder and and you have to do a lot of cheaper deals first to understand how to get the big deals later. And next is DM high volume and vet rigorously. So message many but qualify by engagement and fit. When messaging, don't research before sending a message. So, for example, I go to the Instagram and I want to find 20 Instagram influencers in that type of niche. Then I search the hashtag fitness, for example. I go and search for the fitness influencers. And then I find an influencer. And no, I will not look at his views, what he's posting or anything. I'll just straight DM him. Because if I take time to research every influencer before DMing them, it will take me a ton of hours. So it's better just to start a DM. So it's better just to send a DM first. And if they reply, then yes, you can work with him and look if his content is good, if he's getting views, what is his engagement rate. But no, don't always look it up first before even contacting them, because this will waste you a ton of time. And if you are doing this, please stop it, because then you're losing a ton of time when you could be spending it more valuably. Next is create fast match database. So tag creators by niche, rate, platform, and past ROI. So always keep everything in a spreadsheet. For example, I am using a Notion because it's way easier for me to track it here. I can have databases with creators, influencers, companies, everything. But also you can use a Google spreadsheet and always say the creator name, niche, rate, and platform, and past ROI. That way you can also send that shortlist to a company. So when you're doing outreach, you send the shortlist to the companies, and if they agree to work with the influencers, you can easily track everything. So moving on is find and pre-qualify brands. So as we've been talking earlier, target brands that are already sponsoring creators. So follow visible sponsor activity. Next is reach decision makers. So aim outreach at marketing or partnership leads. And also use short result-led outreach. So one-line value proposition with social proof get replies. You don't need to write a big paragraphs because no one's reading them anyway. A company has a lot of work to do and they will not be reading your 500 words essay. So always focus on writing short with a lot of value and proof. Next is close deals without a calls. So first is sell measurable outcomes. So use promo codes, UDM links, and affiliate tracking. Also, what you can do is anchor brand's budget first, so secure the fee, then split with creators. How does this work? So for example, you outreach to the brand and a brand agrees to work with that influencer, and then you ask them what is their budget, and they will reply, we can do a deal for $3,000. And then you reach out to the influencer and ask, what is your budget for how much you can do that sponsored video? And then an influencer says, I can do it for $1,000. So what happens next? You keep the $2,000 and you give him $1,000. So that's a win-win situation. So next is confirm scope via brief. So one-page campaign brief prevents misunderstanding. So you have to have some kind of contract in place because you need to have the post dates, who will be sending money to, and then how much you will be receiving from who. So the company gets what they want and the influencer gets what they want, and also you as the middleman will not get scammed. Next is automate and delegate. So first is hire a sourcing VA, so outsource list buildings and initial vetting. So you have to have some kind of person that does this for you, and it will save you a ton of time. Next is automate outreach and sequences. So use email DM automations for follow-ups. So you can use a lot of AI apps that would send outreaches, that personalizes them, gives replies, and even filters everything for you. So always use some kind of a apps when you are scaling. So next is productized packages. So for example, you can offer brand free creators for $3,000, and that way this deal will go way faster than any other deal. So next is pricing and 10K roadmap. So first is target 3 to 10,000 deals. A few deals per month makes 10K attainable. So 5,000 campaigns, 10K gross. So all you need to do is find 2 good 10K campaigns, you take 50% cut, and you have $10,000 in a month. That's it. That's what you need to do. Next is plain margins conservatively. So expect 30 to 60 take after creator payouts. Brand pays $6,000, creator keeps 2.5, and you keep 3.5. So it's 58% take home. And next is follow a 90 days plan. So first deal in 30 days, then scale to multiple deals by month free. So you don't need to panic that much in the first 30 days. All you need to do is in the first 30 days get your first deal. That way you will learn a ton of stuff, and I'm sure you will be doing a lot of stuff in that 30 days. And then after that 30 days you need to scale by month free to multiple deals by month. So a good example would be in first month you would earn $2,000, by the next month you will earn $6,000, and by month 3 you will scale it to $12,000. So it's like doubling every month. So let's move further is objections and risk controls. So first is use proof to overcome doubt. So case studies and track metrics build credibility. So you always need to use some kind of proof. If you don't have the proof, it will be a little bit harder to get the brand to work with you and get that deal, but it's still manageable because at first you will not have any experiences. So it will be a little bit harder, but once you have some kind of proof, always keep it and use it as your evidence that you know what you are doing. Next is keep creator backups. So always have alternates to prevent launch delays. So presenting 3 creators per brief ensures quick swaps. Don't need to do 20 creators in a brief. So next is required deposit for larger campaigns. So if it's for example a 10,000 deal, always require a 50% first. So that way a brand won't scam you. And that way 50% upfront reduces a non-payment risk. And next is launch checklist. So first is essentials only. So what you need is Google Sheet, outreach tool, email, and 1-page brief. That's what you need for a start. Next is recruit 20 vetted creators. Bring a roster to brands instead of asking them to search. So don't ask a brand to search the influencers they want to work with. You have to find influencers for them that you think that would be a great fit for them. It's a bit tricky, but yeah, you find influencers that you think the brand would want to work with. And next is run first paid pilot. So measure, document, and convert into case study. You need to have social proof, so your first deal will be your biggest social proof. So let's move on to the next steps, which are, if you want faster results, you can apply for my 101 mentorship, which have only 2 spots left. So if you want it, you can go to my Instagram, zigits.stan, and send me a DM mentor, so I will know you are serious. And if you want to know what will happen in that mentorship, I will be guiding you through everything you need to know about the influencer marketing space. So I will help you build your outreach message. I will show you how to negotiate deals, how to close them, and what to expect from each deal. So if you want to work with me, just go to my Instagram, zigits.stan, and send me a DM mentor. So see you in the next video. Bye.